Morning. I just woke up for work, and sometimes waking up is like the hardest thing to do in the morning. And I'm just not waking up. I got my bun in. I don't say so. It's a pretty nice one today. Look at my eyes. Oh, I'm so tired. Does anybody else eat on every single break that they get at work? Because I eat constantly, just in general, in my day-to-day life and at work. And not while I'm, like, actively working, because I can't bring food into the place I'm working. But I eat, like, every single break, if I can. I bring snacks specifically for it, because, first off, I don't eat breakfast in the morning, because it hurts my stomach most of the time. So if I do, it's something really small, and it doesn't hold me off until, like, lunch. But I really, I bring snacks all the time. And it just is what it is, you know? I'm like, yeah, I eat. Okay? I'm a growing woman. I need all the food I can get, okay? But yeah, I eat on every single fucking break I have, and I would have it no other way. And I always eat out in my car, because even though we have a, actual sitting area inside the fab, even though we have an actual sitting area inside the building, I'd rather just sit in my car. Which is funny, because today it's cold, okay? It's actively, kind of snowing here, and I still, even though I did not bring a jacket, I have my blanket hoodie thing with me, but I don't like bringing it inside, because I don't think it'll fit in my locker. I don't have a jacket or anything on, and it's, actually snowing right now. Oh well, I'll still go and eat in my car. Oh, also, if you want, an example of how this morning has been going, which is not bad, okay, I want to specifically say that. I've had a good morning. It's been pretty busy so far, which is not a bad thing. But this morning, what I ate was a chocolate croissant. And they're mid, okay? I got them at King Soopers. And they're mid. But I put it on a plate, okay? And I had a feeling that the plate was a bad idea. And I put the plate down as I was driving, and, I have crumbs all over this seat now. That's a banana. And I have crumbs all over that seat now. And I am busy this weekend, and listen, this is my fault. I told myself last week that I was going to clean my car, and I did not. And now it's cold. And I'm going to be busy this weekend. Which is also not a bad thing. I sound like I'm upset about it, but I'm not. It's just, my car is a mess. And I eat all the time in here, and there's food everywhere. And it is just, it's bothering me. So I think this week, I'm going to have to speed clean my car at some point. Just to get some of it off. Just to get some of it clean. Right? Yeah. I actually really like the cold. And I know I just complained about it. But that's only because I am, like, I don't want to drive home on icy roads. And also, I have, like, stuff to do this weekend. And it's the only day that it is going to snow all week. And I just, I just don't get it. You know, I don't get weather. I am not, like, a forecast person. I don't do any of that, okay? But, like, this is ridiculous. And we can all agree that if it's gonna snow, like, shouldn't it be cold the whole week? Not that I want it to be, because we're in spring. But what is going on? You know? What's going on? But the nice thing is that I have a warm meal today. And that makes me happy because warm drinks or like food during like snowy or rainy days are really nice. I just am not a very warm type of person. Food maybe, yeah. Food, whatever. But usually with my drinks, it's always iced. Okay, I always like iced drinks. Because I just, unless it's a hot chocolate or something, I can't do hot drinks. But I have a warm dish of food on a snowy day in the middle of April. And it is okay that this is happening, I guess. But it looks pretty, it looks great. But yeah. My camera's shaking a little bit, but that's okay. But it looks really pretty. I just feel bad because a lot of the foliage and like our plants and stuff that are out here, we're so ready for spring. And now it's just snow. So I hope that not everything dies, but I don't know what this means for tomorrow. But it's pretty. And I'm going to sit in my car and enjoy the fact that, like, I'm going to enjoy the fact that I get to watch this snow come down and eat my warm meal. So. Middle of April and the roads are icy. Everything is snowed over. Oh goodness. Sometimes I wonder why I like got a job that's like 35 to 40 minutes away from my house. And I still wonder that to this day. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. But we're out on the road. And we're driving. I have banana for breakfast. And hope. But yeah, it's kind of cold here. My car says it's 14 degrees right now. And I don't know if that's right or not because my car does not like to tell me the correct temperature sometimes. But she doesn't like the cold, so I wouldn't be surprised if she's just like, no, it's much colder than it actually is, you know. But we're up. This is my last day before the weekend. So I'm like, listen, you gotta make it to work. Plus, I don't think I have that many hours left, and I don't want to use them because of this. Because I know I can drive in it. So, but yeah, we're having a banana that's kind of giving me the ick a little bit. Oh, also, it looks really bright outside. Like, yesterday was darker than this at this time. So I don't know if we've hit just the time that it starts to get a bit lighter out in the morning, or if the snow is just really confusing everything. Like, I felt bad for the birds this morning, because, like, all of the birds that are chirping, like, I don't know, I like the idea that they're all complaining about it, because we have, like, red robins and stuff that come here, and if you know, red robins usually only come during springtime. That's, like, their whole thing. And it just snowed, so I don't know if they know what's going on, but yeah, and there's not that many people on the road, and I don't blame anybody, because it's cold and icy, and it's a Saturday, so I don't blame anybody. But yeah, I'm gonna make my way to work, slow and steady. I'll get there when I get there, with a banana in one hand and a mission. You know, it's nice getting a little bit of, like, quiet in the morning. I don't do it very often, but because I'm recording, my music isn't playing, and I usually have music playing in the morning when I go to work. Every now and then I'll do slower songs and stuff, but it's not very often. But it is kind of nice. It's a nice, like, very calm day, especially with the snow on the ground and stuff. It just feels kind of surreal. And it's very pretty. I mean, like, I love seeing snow-covered stuff. It's quite pretty. Except for my car, because when I have to see my car all snowed over and stuff, I know I have to clean it, especially when I'm going to be driving, and that's just, like, I don't want to, but I did. Should have seen all the ice on it. I had, yesterday, because it was not cold enough for stuff to actually start sticking, it was all just melting off. So by the time I got home, it was getting dark. And so overnight, all of the pile of, like, wet snow that, like, I had to brush off my window, or that was just left on my car, all froze over. So I have chunks of ice on top of my car, and everything is so pretty. It has, like, whenever, like, this snow is also weirdly kind of, like, I don't know if it's just because it's in the morning or what, but it looks like a lot of, like, the background is, like, blurry. It's really weird. So, like, all of, like, the fields and stuff have this, like, almost, I think it's because it's barely covered in snow, so everything has that kind of, like, white tint over it. So it looks like everything is just, like, it's pale. Like, everything is so pale and just, like, I don't know. But it's really, really pretty. Reminds me, actually, of going hunting with my dad, which is kind of funny. Every time I get to drive in the morning when the sun's starting to come up and it's snowy out, it reminds me of when I used to hunt with my dad, because we'd get up real early to start hunting, and usually that's in, like, the colder season, so sometimes there'd be a little bit of snow, sometimes there wasn't much snow, and sometimes there was a lot of snow, so it kind of just depended. But reminds me of hunting with my dad. I used to do that. We'd get up real early, and this is literally what it kind of looked like most of the time when we'd go hunting. So, yeah, but I'm happy I don't have to walk out in it, and that I can be in my warm car, because I warmed it up before I got in. And you know how difficult it is to get up out of bed, especially when you have, like, your partner in the bed. Like, I don't know. I struggle just in general waking up to an alarm, okay? And not in the fact of, like, I'll hit it off and then I'll go back to bed, so I have to have multiple alarms. No. I'll wake up to the first one, okay? But I am not happy about it. I do not like waking up to alarms. I don't like it. And it's funny, because I naturally wake up about, usually around 8, which is early for some people. Some people that is early, and I used to wake up earlier than that, just normally. Like, my body would just get me up. But, I don't know, I can't stand waking up to alarms, and so when I have to wake up, and then I have, like, my bed's all warm, and I'm all cuddly, and I just want to be in bed, it is so difficult to get up. I'm like, I don't want to. And then, like, especially today, when I'm like, I know it snowed last night, like, is it even worth it getting up? Like, whatever, but I did, and I'm up, and I'm driving. Me and my boyfriend were talking yesterday. We talk about this every now and then, okay? And I've started to kind of, like, understand where he's coming from for certain things. And so what we were talking about was our sexuality, right? Kind of, it was mostly me bringing it up because, so for the last couple of years, like since I'd say freshman or like sophomore year of high school, I've identified as pansexual, right? I know for a fact that I like polyamory, but my pansexuality, right, has kind of been a kind of strange topic to think about because I don't think that it fits me much anymore, which is strange, okay? Because now I would more consider myself demisexual, which if you don't know what demisexual is, it's when the only time that you feel attraction for somebody, like romantic attraction, is with people that you already know. So like friends, right? You have to get to know people in order to have any kind of attraction to them. And the weird thing is growing up, I was never attracted to anybody, right? I didn't have celebrity crushes. I did not find people in my class cute. I was more invested in running around on the playground and making weird little monsters with, like, my drawings, right? And no, I'm not talking like a horror movie, like, this is just a black scribble with, like, scary teeth. No, I mean, like, full-on, like Pokemon-like animal things that me and, like, my guy friends would just, like, play on the playground with, right? It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. However, I was not attracted to anybody. And I didn't find it strange until I got into, like, middle school, when, you know, you start seeing all of your friends or people get into relationships with other people. And you have to sit and you have to go, huh, wait, I don't get why you'd want to do that. I don't understand it. So I was never attracted to anybody, and I never understood that concept of just like love at first sight or anything along those lines. Like, I did not get it. And I could find people conventionally attractive. Like, I have my own like, there are my own things that I find attractive, so like tattoos and piercings I like. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I find the person that is, like, attached to those attractive. I just like the aspects of it, right? So I never understood it. Well, fast forward, right? I had 2 different relationships. One was with a non-binary, and they were my first relationship. And there was a little bit of that attraction, but I just kind of thought that was normal. I thought that, like, it was just, like, you know, all of the fairy tale stuff of, like, your heart skips a beat and you have butterflies in your stomach was just BS. I didn't think it was true. I was like, okay, so that relationship, it lasted for a little bit, but we ended up breaking things off, and then probably about, because that was senior year, so probably about like a year later, I got into another relationship with a guy from work, and our relationship lasted longer, and I did find him conventionally attractive and everything, and the more I started to get to know him and stuff, I was starting to be like, oh, okay, maybe that makes, maybe that's what it is. And I was still confused, because even though it was technically a bit more than my first, I was still it still was not what people describe, right? Well, then fast forward after that relationship, it was kind of weird. I was still in a relationship with this guy, and I was making a joke about my best friend at the time, which we used to flirt jokingly all the time, and he knew I was polyamorous. I told him the minute our relationship started, hey, this is not going to change, so if you don't like it, you have to tell me. And not in the fact of I'll change, but we need to break it off, right? Because I'm not going to be in a relationship where I can't be myself, and I don't want you to feel like you're forced to do that. So whatever. He said he was fine with it, whatever. But I was making a joke about her, and he was like, well, you might as well kiss her. And I was like, well, maybe I will. And it was a whole thing, right? Well, fast forward after that, I have a sleepover with my best friend. And at the time, she was dating my now current boyfriend. And I know how that sounds. Okay, I know how that sounds. Just hold on. Let me get through the story. She was dating my now current boyfriend. And they had been together for a couple of years. And we had a sleepover. And it was just a chill, normal sleepover. We've had, in the past couple of, years while they were together, we had a couple. And I had seen him a couple of times, but up until this point, I had not really talked to him very much, and so we're having this sleepover and whatever, and at some point during the sleepover, we all kissed, right? Oh my god, right? And from there, our relationship got a little weird, okay? Because it was the first time in my life, probably. It was the first time in my life that I had ever felt anything even close to butterflies, right? I thought I was having a panic attack or anxiety, which I probably was a little bit, but it wasn't it didn't stress me out, it made me giddy. So that's how I was okay, wait, is this what people are talking about? Because I've never felt this before. This is different. And so, kind of fast forward after that, we had a couple up and downs and kind of miscommunication and everything, and we finally kind of figured out that, well, we all said we wanted to be in a relationship together, all of us, and I was genuine about that. And I'm not gonna speak for everybody else, but I was genuine about that, and I was very excited about it. Well, fast forward, we have a couple of complications and everything, and I ended up breaking it off with my best friend. And you can assume how that turned out. We are no longer friends. But, and no hate, things happen, and sometimes, people have different opinions and ideas, and it just doesn't work out, and that's just kind of what happened. But, me and my boyfriend were still, fine, and both of us knew that we were polyamorous, and that was how we wanted a relationship to go. And we ended up staying together, and kind of from there, that's just kind of how things have gone. And ever since, I've been kind of struggling and fighting with my sexuality, because maybe fighting with it isn't the right term, because I don't want to force myself to be something that I'm not, right? But I'm starting to understand. My boyfriend's never labeled himself, because he doesn't have that experience either way. He's only ever been with women. And so he doesn't label himself, because you never know, right? Sexuality is a whole spectrum. It changes, and sometimes it isn't the same as it used to be, or, it kind of is, but things change a little bit, and that's kind of where I feel right now, right? I absolutely adore my boyfriend, and I find him very attractive, and he makes me very happy. And it's been kind of like on my mind recently on how my attraction works with male and female, and then like kind of just everything in between, right? So I always consider myself pansexual, but I think that honestly now I don't even want to label it anymore. If it's kind of more of like a whole thing of like, if I find you attractive and I want to be in a relationship with you, then that's just what it is, right? That's just point blank whatever. But yeah, I've just been kind of struggling with it, and I feel like kind of right now, especially in this time of my life, it is the least of my problems, and I kind of just want to move on from the fact that I keep thinking about it, and that for some reason it's just on my mind, and I think I'm just gonna unlabel myself. Just gonna unlabel it, take that off the resume and everything, because I just don't think that pansexuality really fits me anymore, because even though it's technically still correct, it doesn't feel right. And so I am just going to stick with the fact that if I find you attractive, I find you attractive, and that's that.